I know y'all missed me. All two of you who actively watch the stream on a in a given day.
I
Listen,
only have
Zom
like
Zom,
3 or 4 people. It's okay.
you gotta add a +1 because I missed you.
Aww.
Exactly. Don't forget about your friends.
You got a friend in band.
Well, it was a good run.
Oh no. Oh, well, we're not monetized, so it's all fine. Anyway, today
Yeah.
is the 112th live stream. I know, it's crazy. We're still in the triple digits. We haven't gone backwards.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or gone so far forwards that we hit 1,000 and
And
had to
just.
draw 1,000 ponies from that massive Aggie.
Let's
Oh.
just confuse everybody, and from this point on, we just count down.
or we do just we skip 100 and people wonder where are the lost archives of the MLPDS?
Sounds like a plan. So, we have Ellie here with us.
Oh, hello.
And we also have Fluffyza.
Hello.
And we have a cute pencil case hiding in the background, probably fluffing stuff. Expect to see fluffy things. It happens.
Always fluffing.
It's like the best type of graffiti. And then there's me. Me.
Feeding my own art here.
And I did remember that picture. Hello, tons of work. I guess I will not sleep tonight. Yes, that's true. Want to draw. There is no time for sleep. You just have to draw. This is how life is.
From now on, sleep will slowly be replaced by drawing.
Makes sense to me.
That is actually like my life. It's not even a joke.
All right. So let's talk horse. First horse we have is by Sabion. Siberian 24. Yeah, Siberian. And they are asking if there's any tips. Sorry?
If they're Pokemon, I want to pet them.
Uh,
Sounds like a Pokemon.
you might have to set up a Pokestop.
Oh, okay. So, they did a lovely twy. Lovely, cute little twy.
Yes. Where is your cute toy?
Good. Tablet still works.
That's always a good sign.
But do I? Jeez. Nope. Oh, I'm gonna blame the uneven surface. Yep, blaming that.
The uneven surface of the drawing of the page that is actually just on the flat surface on our screen.
The tablet was rocking because it's sitting half on a
Oh.
keyboard mat.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
Well, it just rocked, man. Oh yeah, puns. We're going there, guys.
You gotta rock. Can't help it.
Rock.
Those who want to rock. Yo, he's not here. We won't get banned.
We can sing whatever we want.
And then get flagged.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
BFC's already taken the helm. It's too late.
No.
We never have any fun.
Wait, what do we do?
Fun loud. I mean, if I'm gonna be straight up honest, this is like a really good show style drawing.
Yeah, there's not really much to nitpick.
New.
I'm just drawing skeletons around stuff.
And just messing with pony legs, making them even cuter because ponies are cute.
The horn needed a little correction. I would maybe choose to push the ear forward. The tail isn't being pooped out. It could be raised up a bit. But these are minor. The back legs. The back legs could use a little touching.
Yeah, I'd say
Touch.
I don't want to say blame your reference, but MLP back legs are always weird from side view because they're animated, so like the cut up is weird. So honestly, I would say to push yourself further because, like we said, this is really great show style. I would say push yourself past it now. Study other artists, study the movies, study things that are less flat. And unless you're enjoying drawing the show style, nothing wrong with that. But
Mm.
to get that extra oomph to
Yeah,
it, you know.
because you could always keep like this is great. Like we said, there's nothing wrong with this. Very good show style, but like it's obviously very flat. It's just like a very sort of unambitious like side view. What you can try doing is try more like more sort of like do some third quarter, try some different expressions, different poses of the body and head and everything, and so try to push yourself to break away from the typical like straight view, but you can stick to show style while you're doing that, and then you can always like branch out after you sort of do that a little bit, or you can do it the other way around. It's up to you. But I think you'll find a lot of artists, and as well as the movie itself as well, are quite dynamic in their like positions and layouts and everything. So it's not going to be quite as often you find just straight up like here's a character facing portrait or whatever. Like it will help a lot to get those references and start making that jump as Ali suggested.
Totally.
Because then you'll have some super nice references for branching out and trying those different angles and everything.
Oops. It's gonna be noisy. 1 sec.
No problem.
People always
Gosh,
just like...
Zamzam, you're back for one day and already there?
Getting texts.
It's just out for booty calls.
One hell of a butt dial.
All right. I got nothing else to say. I mean, that's it.
It's great show style.
Do more. Do different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
More, do
absolutely.
different. Spin it around. Test yourself.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't like really have a super huge amount to say because there really isn't. You did a good job. So just like we said, just try different things and experiment, branch out from here.
See how far you can push that horse.
Yeah.
Push it.
To the limit.
All right, on to the next one then.
Sounds good to me.
We're gonna move on to a Fluttershy.
That's great.
So this Fluttershy is brought to us by Risen Warrior. They submitted a little while ago, I think like 2 or 3 weeks. Let's see. Somewhere in here. I'll find it, I swear. Another
Alternate main star Fluttershy.
8 days ago. Oh, no. Hold on. They go slightly further back. Anyway. They've only really just picked up drawing according to them. And this is their most recent one. So let's talk this one. And improvements. And things to do.
Adorable.
Yes.
So this is like a short hair Fluttershy.
I actually don't know if it's a Fluttershy. I was just
okay.
calling it.
You just said that, did you?
Yeah, it makes Fluffy happy. He loves the little flutter butter.
You're just thinking of me. Oh, it's really hard to like work on the face when I got the other face underneath. Yeah. So the proportions are a little strong here. The neck's really thin for one thing. I'm just sort of trying to do a little messing around with the head. I can see some faint undersketching here, so that's good.
Yeah, I was about to say kudos because like most people just starting out ignore undersketching, and I see a lot of circles and crosses and little sketchy bits to try to help you plan it before you actually go deeper into refining it. So really kudos. It's one of the harder things to pick up when first starting art because most people just don't pick it up. And you have to relearn.
Totes my goats.
I'm still. It's always hard to draw the way we would normally on this program.
I don't know. This is weird because it's not traditional for me. This weird digital world.
I will say, I'd say be careful with your hair. It's definitely got a tad spikiness going on to it. I know we can totally go crazy with like anime spikes, or like some characters actually do have like decently spiky hair to them, but hair usually has more of a flow, and if something's gonna disconnect, it's not going to usually be in big chunks, especially like if you have a long tail like that. Like Living Dead's currently drawing over that. It's going to have more flow, and if something separates, it'll be more like long strands instead of just chunks of spikes coming out. Because like the chunks of spikes pretty much say that the hair is cut there, like it got cut off and now it's flying out. And usually long hair, all the hair is long, so it's stuff like that to consider.
So
I appreciate the chest fluff, by the way.
So what I've done to the top mane is I just smoothed out your lines a little bit to, as Ali was saying, cut some of the chop out. Hair goes smooth and flowing and goes into bodies. It doesn't. While it can sort of pull out like a little spikiness, based on the length of this, it's going to flow into bodies rather than spikes. So I've just taken some of your curves and smoothed them out and made sure it's just not chunks of hair layered on chunks of hair. It's bodies moving into other bodies.
Makes sense.
And then with your tail, I've just tried to raise it up off the ground a bit. The reason is your plane goes like this. You know, we got the point somewhere behind her, and it's all coming out right at us. So we're almost horizontal to that. No, perpendicular. There we go. Anyway, she's basically flat to us. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, they're almost flat to us. We want to make sure that tail doesn't stick underground, because there's nothing suggesting that it would be lower than the rest of the body. Yeah, that's all I got. Anyone else? I still see doodles going on here.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think the TLDR is to just keep doing what you're doing, keep practicing, work on proportions, and practice your hair. And hair's fun. I don't know about you, but I always have fun like practicing and drawing hair. It's just so flowy and has so many ways of doing things.
You should draw Twilight in more dresses. Just dresses everywhere. Big, long, flowy dresses.
Verity would be proud.
Yes.
Fair enough. We all know Rarity doesn't ever wear dresses, though. She's naked at all times of the day.
Like a true artist.
Clothes is too mainstream. Fluffy, you want to talk about the little doodles you did?
Yeah, I was just messing with the face because it's very sort of like. Let's see if I can get a different color. I'll use the laser pointer. There you go. So you can see it sort of like careens into this nose here, whereas it's kind of a strange angle for the pony. If you look at how they typically look in the show, I basically just sort of drew it like, how we actually know the ponies. Goes down, bumps out into the little nose. Usually it will, as I've got in this little drawing to the side here, it will split off into the mouth, and you have like the chin underneath it. But a lot of the times in the show they do just have it so it's just like a flat shape with the mouth coming off it. So if you wanted to do it like that, you're just following show style. I understand that. So the other thing, just like I said, the neck comes on very, very thin. I would just thicken it out. Even then, I wasn't. It's really hard to draw on top of like another sketch because you're really distracted by it. So I drew like a little thing to the side. So this is probably a little bit more accurate. You got like the jawline here, goes from the chin up to like where the ear is. I sort of messed with the legs a bit just because I felt like they should be a little bit longer. I think both Ali's and mine would both be very valid ways of drawing the leg hooking around. I sort of had mine like dip down a little bit, whereas hers is a little bit higher. I kind of imagine that you could go between those 2 points if you were stroking the leg up and down.
Well, there's the small thing. I don't mean to critique you, but your leg is very long. Like,
yes,
it
it's
pretty
really
much
hard
goes down to here, and then when you extend it, it'll be like all the way down there.
Ah, yes, that makes sense. So other than that, just looking at the eyes, because I mean the eyes are fine, but you can always experiment to add more detail and stuff. And with the shape, it's always really fun to sort of try and push that 3D shape. Remember that you were sort of looking at it from the side. The show pretty much just copies the same exact eye from the side, so I don't blame you for that either. But again, as we like to sometimes say, you know, the show isn't a perfect reference, and sometimes it's important to sort of think about things from outside the box, so to speak. And but I do like a bit of an anime eye on the left here, just to sort of show, you know, like this is how it sort of will go. You got the side of the eye, and then you got like the actual eyeball part. It can be very hard to sort of put shape and perspective into eyes rather than having them just be stickers in the face. But you can easily get that like 3D form in there if you just like look at some references and practice a bit.
All right. On to the next one.
Sounds lovely.
We're just pounding through these. You have a contender here, Fluffy.
Ooh.
Maze
in the
Temporal.
ring.
You're being called out, Fluffy.
Oh no.
They disagree slightly with your eye because horse eyes can be more on the side.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's all on how you want to build your face, really.
Yeah, it's all. There are so many different ways to sort of build the anatomy. Between like anywhere sort of between like, so we've got the sort of cartoony style animals. We got like actual horses. We've got like more human-like features, more anime-like features, and there's all sorts of different like genres within those. And it's like there's so much you can experiment. But yeah, I mean, just use your interpretation, I think.
Hey, wanna draw? Hey, wanna draw? Hey, buddy. You there?
Are we doing a wanna draw art?
Stream
How unexpected.
delay. Stream delay. Do waiting for that stream delay.
Wait, we have the waiting song. Waiting music.
Oh. It's getting the CPC fluff sign of approval. Fluff and fluff.
I think Wanna Draw's been at the stream more than once. Their stuff has been infected by the fluff.
Spencer Case is just as pleased as I am with the fluffiness.
Wanna draw fluff.
The more you see this picture, the less you like it. That is very normal,
happens.
actually. Yeah.
Very normal.
That also means your vision's getting better. Because there's two
Yeah.
parts to art. Actually doing it, and then also taking it in. So you can already self-critique yourself, which is a good sign. You're seeing things you don't like.
They also
But it's
critique
also a
often.
curse.
Like in the sub.
A gift and fest.
They're there. They do it. They're awesome.
They are awesome.
Do you have any questions offhand, Wanna Draw?
It's ear sort of halfway between perking up and halfway between keeping down. Which
I
of
would
course is
say-
a matter of expression. It depends on what sort of mood the pony is trying to put forward.
I would say it's actually not connected at the right point, because it's at almost at the top of the head, where ears usually come out the side.
Unless if they're going for that sideways style ear that people do sometimes.
Sideways style.
Let me see if I can find an artist that
Do
does
it.
it. Well, wow, that thing where it's that one.
I would still push it back though. I still feel like it's up too high.
So
Because if we're at a 3/4 view, it's practically on the forehead.
like just on the side of my screen, I slowly see a more and more fluffy chest expanding out.
I'm just doing CPC's fluffing here.
Fur in shadow
She's
work.
fluffing my thing.
All right, well, fur. We got two fluffinators here. Like they eat up fluff. Little hairballs everywhere. It's horrible. How about you two fluffers? You want to talk about this?
For me, I think one of the main things is just like sort of asymmetry in the head. I probably did not do this particularly well. Just mirroring it to have a look. But it's we can actually mirror on this program. Thankfully, it's one of the few things it can do. It's just again hard to see on top of the existing drawing. But with traditional, this is going to be something that's very tricky because you can't just like you can hold up a mirror, but you're not really like seeing it properly. You can't just like press H and have your drawing flip around. But that is something that is very helpful to spotting problems with like the face and stuff. I literally used it right before the stream. And I was like, oh, this drawing is incredibly wonky. I need to just do a perspective warp in this face here. But, you know, you can't do that when you're drawing. But still, I think just sort of... I drew, of course, the little plus first, plus, to help get an idea of like where this head is facing. And then just sort of work from there. It helps you figure out like where everything's bending. And again, I did not do it very well. But I hope it sort of gives you an idea of where you sort of want to put the facial lines and everything. I think that will help get you more to the point where you're happier looking at drawings the next time you see them, maybe. Just because it'll look more balanced. I also would agree with Ali. I think that ears, looking at it flipped as well. I think I see it even more now. It's definitely a bit too high up. But again, remember that ears aren't just sort of like a thing on the side of the head for hearing. Ponies can also use them for expressing. So the different position where it's facing can change so much about what a pony is saying, because it's body language. So play around with that as well if you want to. You can also keep it at the position you've got it, but that's just what I mean. Is like you can experiment with moods with the ears. Yes, keep your case has got some lovely little emoting ears going on.
Express yourself.
They can be up, down, facing out, facing in, clamp down, limp and floppy. They can be shifting about. They can be moving up or moving down. Because of course they're in motion.
You know, saying like floppy ears makes me really want to see like a pony bunny hybrid. Because there's so many pony hybrids. I've never seen a pony bunny hybrid. What if they just have big floppy ears?
Some of my ears have ended up looking a little bit bunny like. Yeah.
I think I know you want to talk about fur and shadow, but I just do want to keep a little poke out about proportions, because your front legs are very long compared to these back legs. So like say if I stretched out those lines versus your back legs, it's very long. So just keep that in mind. And the wings, I think you had a little trouble with. I know it's hard because a lot of it's hiding behind the hair, but I would definitely think about not making it so chunky feather-wise. Play around with like wings. Again, wing styles can be done. You can do show style. You can look up actual bird wings. But usually the thicker wings tend to look a little clunkier. Like they're not so much feathers anymore, in my opinion. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, you can either, if you're gonna have like a big huge bend in the legs, you know, the legs are gonna be more lifted up, whereas if they're close to the ground, it'd be a softer bend. That's what these weird hieroglyphics I'm drawing next to the picture are. I'm trying to sort of just like the leg positions. I also forgot I was flipped. Otherwise, I don't really have anything much else. Rough and shadow, fur and shadow. You mean like how to shade with like fur, or do you mean those are just two things that you're working on fur and you're working on shading? Is that what you meant? So.
Do. Clicking it again. Here we go.
I've not actually heard the wing, so I'm going to turn on the audio for the stream.
while we wait, I will talk slightly about the fluff. I love that you're doing fluff now. The only thing I'll say is that you're kind of getting into that spiky fluff, where it's not so much like soft, fluffy bits, but just kind of spikes coming off the pony itself.
Pensacola and I like to graffiti fluff over everything, but it serves a purpose too. You can sort of see how I sort of drawing it the way CPC draws a lot, where you do this sort of like really loose, heavy sort of fur, and you don't have to do it that way, but that's a way to make it look sort of very soft and voluminous. Or you can do it sort of more the way I do it, and Pensacola is doodle over to my pony on the left, which is sort of a bit more loose and feathery. But it doesn't really need to be super spiky. You can also do it. Like this. Be soft fluff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like this fluff is soft. You don't really think of it as like spikes. Like spikes are usually indicated with sharp or like hard edge because it's like a point. And like even think about ponies. You notice how unicorn horns are rounded at the top? It makes them feel softer overall. Like I know it's weird to say, but like they are cute, soft little creatures. Like all of it.
And this is like spiky here how I've done it, but like with such loose strokes and the way you've got like little bits feathering out, it sort of varying line weights and stuff. Again, with that varying line weights we like to bring up, that makes it look very much softer to the touch rather than just being really. Because I feel like if there's too much purpose to it, like here is a spike and then here is a spike, it's sort of like it's very much like it makes it feel too solid.
Like something I notice here, all of your fluffs are kind of going in the same direction. Like if I go to this back leg, like that's fluff,
in the back.
and that's fluff, and it's like all kind of like this is a spike going one direction coming out.
Yes, yeah.
So like how both the there's so many good examples on this page alone of fluff.
Yeah, like CPC's just drawn all this stuff to the right, which is pretty much what I was. Yeah.
It's it's short hair, so you treat it like a flowing hair, but it's short, a little bit longer, but it's short.
Yeah. Although I do like that you got like a very, very fine fuzzy going on here and here.
Yes,
and like
that's
all those sort of areas, but then you've got like the longer hair and stuff, the hooves, and especially on the chest and everything. I do like that you've got that differentiation. That's very nice.
Yeah, otherwise that's all I got.
Well, cool. For just a test, I think that this drawing came out very, very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Do in the future.
All right.
We had someone throw us an image in the Discord.
Total lies. People don't throw us
Total
images.
lies. Yeah, right at our faces. That's where they aim.
Resizing. Bump. All right, Sea Dog.
Them's fluffin' herds.
You got any questions?
QT.
For the rarity deer.
Just saying it like it is Zom.
That is very, very cute.
So you want to improve the gesture, so like kind of like the action line, the feel of action.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, the actual action. Sorry if I'm
Oh
talking.
no, you're fine.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
You need courage.
I think the thing for me is you got like one very, very clear action line going here by this, the icy magic, and then you got another one for her sort of going sort of a bit more like this. So it kind of, I mean, they sort of work together, but at the same time you got sort of two different. I'm not even sure. you haven't got a very clear action line going for Velvet. That's sort of just like the general area. It's sort of this like here. The thing is, for her, she's a perfect character for action lines. So you look at some of her poses, you got like, because she's a deer, you got that super like springing leap and everything. You got like the legs sort of tight together, and you got like the body like really sort of like tightly held in. I'm not looking at reference for deers, so this is just drawn out my butt. But there you
Wait, hold the phone. You hold your pencil with your butt?
go. Yeah, it's a skill
Whoa.
I developed. No, I need to actually look up a reference quick, but yeah, you can sort of imagine like the deer springs and like how they have like a very dynamic action line. But it's definitely a good opportunity to sort of try that stuff out. I think it's just sort of yeah, thinking about, because the magic obviously plays into it as well. I'm assuming this is like her icicle magic. That sort of plays into the action line as well. So I guess it's sort of a matter of sort of like you can try and follow the icicle stuff with her, but I'm not really sure how to do that personally. Well, I'm distracted googling.
I think maybe if the icicle wasn't going so high up, i.e., it stopped closer to her left
Perhaps, yeah.
foreleg,
Yeah.
then maybe that could have improved it. I'm not too sure.
Is it like a physical like thing she's like sort of jumping onto, like she's jumping onto an ice like wave, or is it just sort of like
Yeah.
shooting up next to her?
No, she's jumping on top of it.
Oh, okay. So that was my initial impression. I'm not sure, other than like overlapping her legs and stuff, which may be hard because she's probably just going to make contact with it as soon as she touches it. As soon as like any of those legs touch it, there's probably not much overlap to have. But it would be. Oh, I suppose you could do like a shadow. But it depends if you where your light source is. Sort of just something to illustrate like where she is in relation to this thing here. Yeah, you can always yeah. So if it's ice here, she's jumping onto it or something. I'm not really sure. Well, that was just one idea proposed, but you got there are all sorts of different action lines. Go, hey, leap in this way. This is terrible. Yeah. Just trying to think about where like the body, the back legs. Yeah. I mean that's sort of all it is. I think is just try drawing it out first, and then see how you can knit the character close to that line. So I think it's a lot harder to adjust after you've already got the character in there than it is to like draw the action line in the first place. Keep in case I see you fluffing me up there, sneaky.
Yeah, I totally I think something that really helps is, well, for gesture sketching, it to be messy. You want to be
Oh,
the
yeah.
most loose and messy you possibly can be. Don't even think about form and proportion. You're purely there to capture the motion. Like if you Google gesture sketches and you see these humans that are barely humans, but you know they're human and you see the movement to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a refining rate. So like something I think that'll really help to capture and improve doing a more action-filled pose is to do something called thumbnailing, and that's basically just like you draw yourself a tiny little box over to the corner, whatever size canvas you want to use, and kind of like you play. Then you just like, okay, I want the ice coming up all epic. Maybe I'll have it
Yeah.
swirl or something, and she can be coming out in the middle.
It super helps to
Yeah.
just build up the composition of the image while you can still mess with it super easily.
Yeah. And like you can do 1,000 of these because look, I did it in what, like 10 seconds, not even. And I know it's really messy, but it gets your idea out there, because
Yeah.
then I can take this and define it more, bring out what I actually want from it.
There's a lot of gesture drawing and stuff in animation. So there's actually an exercise I had to do for something once, and it's just like a lot of the time you just sit and do like people watching. You sketch people in motion, and you have to just be super quick, just like rush out like the lines of the people. I didn't get it at the time, and I failed miserably, but I've done it to help a friend with a uni project once. I was a little bit better then, but it's exactly that. It's just like very very messily and loosely sketching out just to get, because you don't. It doesn't matter if it looks super neat and tidy. It's just like to get the motion, because even though you're not doing animation, if you like capture that motion in your picture, then you've done like a super good job of getting like a dynamic picture. And hey, when you're animating, when you get like, you don't get too much time to fuss with every frame, so they're going to be all super messy. But with the drawing, you get to take your super sweet time with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. All right, thanks.
I think for specifically this, if you do want to alter this drawing, I said maybe push her rear up a little bit, and then sort of like tighten her legs together. Not sure if you could keep the front legs separate, or you can do the same with those as well. Just like, hey, here are these legs about to land on this. Because then that's sort of like the springing and about to land position. Unless she is like trotting up this thing. I'm not sure, because that is kind of like a trotting pose actually, like a canter.
Yeah, I kind of had a little bit of a canter in mind with that.
Yeah, so it's all about sort of like thinking about what it is you're trying to go for, and even then, with a canter, you can sort of like try and hit like action lines with the legs and everything, and the whole thing itself can still have that motion and tightness to it while still maintaining that kind of pose.
Yeah.
Sorry about my cough today. Unless you had any questions or anyone else had anything to say about it, then I'm done.
No, I'm good.
Good here.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We have another submission from the gallery.
Yeah, lots and lots of people throwing drawings at us.
Submission of the artistic version.
DeviantArt, I hate you so much. Why do you do this to my friggin' pictures?
What has it done to you?
It doesn't allow you. It alters with how it saves them, so you can't open them in drawing programs often.
What?
Yeah.
I've never had this problem before.
Download from a
Like,
stash.
the file type it saves?
Yeah, it complains. It has an altered header to it. So you just have to modify it. Like, yo. Don't worry about it. All right.
You got the art, that's all that matters.
Lula, any questions for us? Holy cow, that pony needs to eat something.
Yes.
Like,
That would be
Eat more apples.
you have this really big head and then puny thin arms and a ridiculously thin body, and Q Pencil Case is trying to fluff the chest.
So I actually do have a question. What did you use for a reference? Because if you are trying to use human anatomy, stay away from artists, because 90% of artists who draw females will do this whole anorexic. There's no way the head is bigger than the chest, or I mean the stomach thing. It is very common, because in art you accentuate that curve, because that's what's attractive. That's the attractive gaze. So just, I would say, stick to actual human references as best as you can, if you weren't already. Because yeah, that is a very tiny
Yeah,
chest,
no,
especially
I
considering the
disagree.
face. No, go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying I agree. It's because I mean, well, with a lot of cases with things, it's like studying from actual photo references is never to be invalidated. It's always important to do so. But with a lot of cases as well, because you don't have to pick one or the other. Studying from drawings can be like, someone's done the work of figuring out how to translate this from photo to drawing already. So you can learn from studying from other people's work. It's just a matter of understanding that is a person's interpretation of something, and you've really got to come to your own interpretation. And there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I don't really like the way they did this particular part of this. I'm gonna try and do it a little bit differently. That's perfectly fine. That is completely within your agency as an artist to do that.
It's pretty much, if you want to learn anatomy, study the thing. If you are comfortable with anatomy and want to start expressing it differently, start looking at artists, because artists have changed anatomy. Unless it's realistic, they have changed the anatomy in some shape or form. And humans, well, we're real things, unlike ponies.
I'm not real.
No. You're my imaginary friend.
Yep. I'll just be a distance away.
Man, you suck.
Within your heart.
But yeah, that's my honest 2 cents about that. I really enjoy the overlapping though.
Smooth, flowy lines. Clothes has weight because it actually doesn't just sit on the body. Like, it doesn't become the body, it sits on the body.
The body like curves into the belt and everything. That's super nice. But yeah, that's definitely what you want to do. Just give her a bit of weight to her body.
CPC, you're fluffing apples. You're fluffing apples. You've gone too far.
I feel like
She
I'd be
has
scared of
fluffed
those
weird
apples.
things. She's like fluffed everything. She's fluffed the sun. She's fluffed like
She flipped
air.
the wall.
Yeah, a brick wall. Yeah, it was a fluffy brick wall.
I'm pretty sure she's fluffed clouds. I'm pretty sure she's fluffed stars in the sky. That sounds like it should be on like a Valentine's Day card for CPC.
Oh my gosh, they're happy little fluffy apples. Oh, jeez.
Now you don't want to eat them.
They're moldy.
Or they're gonna bleed. Do you have any further questions, Lula?
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-da. Hey. Sorry, lost connection. You got any further questions, Lula? I swear I'm not folding laundry while doing the stream. Not at all. Oh, awesome. Awesome possum. Let's move to the next one.
I mean, otherwise, I really like we said, the line works great. I love how you do the eyes, that nice thick black line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Make some pop. Alright.
On to the next art.
We're doing the one with the glasses cutie mark.
Sounds good.
Shift.
Chill.
Control. Shift. Control space. That's it.
Trying to zoom into the right place.
No, control space together makes it rotate. That was a problem because I was trying to figure out how to re-square it.
Yeah, I always forget that key combination. There's different in Clip Studio. So there is a little slider on the bottom, just under the canvas on the right, and there's a button next to that resets it. It took me a while to find that, but that helps.
I've hidden that button somewhere.
Oh.
So this is by Buttmaster.
Wow, that's quite a name.
Related to the Thigh Master.
Yeah, PG stream.
Sort of.
Just workout equipment.
Yeah, I love that, like, the Q mark. I really hope those are also shades.
The coolest pony in the world. So something I've noticed is actually you don't got a tail here. Let me get a different color.
Yeah, the tail comes out the hip.
Yeah, the tail's like on the side. Oh, jeez, it's big. Anyway, yeah, the tail would be between the legs. Right now, it's kind of coming out the side.
Yep, that's a thick line.
I always found this like a difficult pose. So take these legs with a grain of salt and just trying to sort of help a little bit. I feel like adding sort of a little bit more curve and flow to the lines might help push that a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I would not count everything I'm doing here as 100% accurate, is all I'm saying. It's for ideas. It's to help you like generate your own.
It is like poses like this are difficult because horses cannot do this. There is no way any horse can lounge in such a fashion. So that's when they start to break anatomy. That's poses like this are when like it's definitely not going to be it's going to be broken. That's what they do in animation. They break it in the movement to make it work for the animation. And it works because we're seeing it move and it makes sense to us cuz cartoons, you know?
Yeah, but they're basically just expressing something that we can then like translate and interpret, which is, oh hey, they're doing this motion, you know, but sometimes that doesn't really make as much sense in the actual in actual terms when you look at it, but like it doesn't matter because our brains see it and recognize what's going on. But you know, I think you've done a good job of trying to interpret this anyway.
And I agree with Zamzam. The arms going under the head should definitely be thicker and maybe not as noodly. Like they still have, despite breaking anatomy, they still have bones. So like keeping at least towards where things would bend would be nice to help convince the audience that this is a perfectly normal thing for a horse to do.
Yep, just normal horse business.
Normal horse business.
Quit horsing around.
3 little horses, 1, 2, 3. Wait.
How to make a body and neck there? Sorry, what do you mean?
To connect the body and the neck together.
Oh, just a line.
Yeah, it's just a line.
There we go. Belly button. There we go. I know they probably don't, but I love all the art with belly buttons. They're adorable. I actually, someone invited me to a group on DeviantArt, which is just like ponies with belly buttons. It's like a specific group.
That does not surprise me that there's just a specific group for that.
Yes. It's for all the cute things.
Something for everybody in this fandom.
Yep. And they were like, "Hey, you're a good supplier of art. We can add to our thing." I feel like the tail here, as well as adding it coming out of the base of the spine and not like the somewhere on the other side of the pony. This part here it's very jagged. Like the tail really wouldn't look like this because that's, if we look at that front on, that's just like a flat object, and that's not really natural looking. So I just like, obviously this is probably not the actual shape of the tail you're going for, but that's sort of like I was just absent-mindedly doodling like hair that like clumps together and flows. So feel free to like take that and like interpret it however makes sense for the shape of the hair you're going for. Should leave that. Same could go for this actually. The little outlying strand, and then the rest is like going to be gravity looping over the leg here. Or it could be going underneath it, but I think that looks really nice. That looks super chill.
The coolest, chillest pony in the world.
I like what CPC's drawing there. It's very nice. Yeah, you could have like the legs sort of like more propped up in the air there. That's really good. Super chill.
There's so many ways to play with it because points like these, I think of it as like the animal to human slider because
Yes.
the broken anatomy is pretty much to mimic what humans would do. Like I said, horses can't lay on their back, but humans can. We can prop our legs up over ourselves and just relax in the sun. So it's like finding that combination between the two that mesh and make you feel like, yeah, this
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what makes them anthropomorphic, is because
Mhm.
they are animals with human qualities, and you can add and stretch those qualities wherever we need them to be, essentially.
Yes. It might not come out right the first few times. It definitely is something to get used to. It's always hard to like mash human and other together because you're like, well, it's not human and it's not the other thing. So my brain's like, oh, it's wrong because it's neither of the two things I know.
Mm.
But yeah, keep practicing. Like I said, really cool fun. I got nothing else.
Alrighty then. We're gonna move on to our last submission. Yep.
I hear the person who submitted this is pretty cool too.
I don't know. Might just be.
I don't know. I heard that.
It's a rumor I heard.
There seems to be a little extracurricular fluffing going on here.
I actually did the first, and I'm like, I should add that to the actual picture, though.
Oh, jeez.
It needs to be fluffy.
So do you have any questions offhand?
I don't know. There's something. I was struggling a lot with the leg, and just general like making it not look weird. I don't know. It's very vague, I know, but this is the second attempt. The first one looked horrible, but I was not warmed up yet, I guess. It doesn't need to be super stellar picture. I just want it to like make a little bit more sense.
Honestly, just think like a little definition will go a long way. Though, I think the bigger problem is that you have this guy, this leg, being really long. So like, the limb here would only be this long, and then the middle limb is twice that size.
Yeah. That's one of the things I was really struggling with. I when it comes to legs, especially when they're sort of bent like this, like I can do this part. I used to struggle even more, but then I sort of realized the trick of like making the hoof curve back here. But even so, I struggle with this part, like where it comes out and then bends around, and how to make that not look really weird and silly.
Cause like, I totally get this vibe of like that proud kitty pose, like you know the cat's paws up super high. Time to look up cat pictures.
Oh yeah, and I haven't forgotten the other ear. I was just like, it was a quick sketch. Like I often draw the second ear on after I've got everything else in place.
Zamzam was gonna come for you.
I can share the first one first draft.
I do agree with the addition of the tail. Needs tail.
Yeah, I was sort of looking at that, and I was like, I'll wait till we actually get to the picture first, and then I think CBC probably did that.
So many cat pictures on the internet.
Wow, really? What?
Google's AI once thought cats owned the universe. Or the Earth.
They don't?
You got any questions? Needs a line. Needs a chest line.
Oh, the chest line is already there.
It's this one.
That's a big chest.
I confused with the fluff. Yeah, I don't know if is that too big?
Yeah.
Because I often do like the movie style. They have this sort of like duck-shaped body. I don't know. The body at this perspective is hard. Like, where it would lead to and everything.
I'd have that entire thing up like that. The reason is because often when we do the elbow, like that first bend, it sits beneath the chest.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have the chest pulled up more. But hey, it's your character, it's your style. Style tag, walk off.
Because often I have like legs. I usually do my legs like a little bit longer, but obviously this is like a squished in, cropped together thing, so you can't really see much else. And obviously the leg I did draw didn't really do a good job of portraying that as being the part that I was struggling with.
It's yeah. See, like the problem is like if you make it longer, then your base joint will be down further, and you'll get even less view of the hoof.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like
Damned if you do.
damned if you don't. It's a struggle. That is a tough problem to figure out to get that pose to work.
Yeah, that's why 2 attempts and it's still like needs work. Sometimes it is worth just redrawing something completely. I mean, I'll post the I'll just copy thing just for like reference next to it.
So-
But yeah, it's underneath all of the fluffing. I'll place it again like higher up, but yeah, this was the first attempt. The green line was sort of like where I was planning to separate it, since it's just gonna be like a telegram sticker. But yeah, like sometimes it really helps just to like. This is something I've talked about before, so I kind of wanted to show that I do practice what I preach sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But like when you if you're like, okay, this drawing's like clearly in need of a lot of work. Like you could sit here for ages and like slowly fix up every little bit. But sometimes if you start from scratch, you like come up with something completely different, often more dynamic and a bit more. Like sometimes it can be completely different but still portray the same thing, but sometimes even better than what you initially trying, like with this one. I actually did like the idea of that, whoever's drawing that just then, with the hoof raised up to
Yeah,
the cheek.
because you mentioned that it was a telegram sticker,
I
right?
can't erase this now. Whoops. I can't get back.
So my
Yes.
idea was that since it's a telegram sticker, usually those have crazy things going on that obviously could not work out if you drew the whole thing. And usually they're
Mm.
like facial headshots too. So if you're trying to do it, maybe just cut out the body. I think the body is your worst enemy right now.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, this is just to convey the emotion of like, oh look, paw in the air, I'm super cute. Just kind of get that up there.
Yeah,
Get rid of the
that
body.
works. The other thing I keep trying to remind myself of is that I was also doing it kind of for the sake of being able to post like Tumblr reactions and stuff, like for if I make a blog of just like slice of life spirit wind. You know, I have an ask and then I post like a random little like
Yeah.
smiling or something, you know. So I kind of at least want it to be like bust shot for that, but I don't know. I guess I'll see what works out. And I could always just try making like a quick little headshotty thing if that works out a bit better.
I mean, the other thing you could do is have the head leaning forward so that it is lower to the hoof.
Yeah. I think that's more what I was doing in the first one. Yeah.
Oh no, I mean like the whole neck, like
Oh yeah. That's
Like-
like you know, like
your neck's like that,
I
but
was just sort of realizing that the head is like really like more tilted in a different direction when I did it the first time. But yeah, I get what you mean.
yay.
Because I think it's just like not. I mean, I think at this point, if I was gonna sort of be going that, I would probably more like do something completely. I'll go full into like having him sort of like, you know, like maybe like laughing into the hoof kind of thing, like that. Right, like rather than just sort of like.
Mhm.
I think it's sort of. I kind of imagine him like mid walk, just kind of doing like a little stop and pose, like hoof in the air. Other ones are sort of in walking position. Does that make sense?
I would look up Rarity.
Yeah.
She does that so much. Sadly, her hoof is not as high though. That's the thing. She doesn't usually raise it above the chest for a pose like that,
Mm.
unless she's like bringing it up to be under her chin. So it's like either go with like the broken thing and have the hoof up high. Like it's not bad to have broken anatomy, like we've discussed before, if it gets the point across. But it's like you have to accept one or the other at this point, I think.
Yeah. That's kind of what I mean. Yeah, like I go either way. Yeah, that's helpful.
All right
That's
then.
adorable. Keep that's the case.
She is just adorable.
Master of cute.
The
We're
adorable.
gonna sketch so much at Galacom. We're gonna collab.
All right, we have another submission. Let's do this up. Paste from file. Paste from file. Where did that go?
So many art. Do all the art.
Downloads? Nope. Critique. Where did my picture go? Well, it helps if I actually grab it.
Where didn't your picture go?
Not to the folder I wanted it in. Resizing. Oh, it is 1000 by 1000. You're allowed. I have a question. What are you using to draw this? Oop. Loop. Double loop. Triple loop. Oh my gosh. Drunk right now. Oh gosh. It ain't working.
Simon, you can't drink and draw.
You silly.
Yes, you can. It's a fun game.
There it goes.
Alright.
So they've been doing a lot of drawing too.
Sleepy. Any questions?
You sad the left line slipped so super orange.
Krita. Okay.
Krita is difficult for me to understand. But I hear good things.
So, one thing I would like to point out, it looks as though the legs were drawn in after the body was drawn. The reason I say that is because this arm is so far over, it would mean it's dropping down like this. And somehow doing this massive noodle over here. That don't make sense. How can you get past this? You sketch it. You sketch it beforehand. You do a larger picture and then you break it on down. You crop that stuff. You're working with digital. You got all the space in the digital world.
Do I really, Zamzam?
Wow.
Let's fill up with Digimon.
TM limited by hard drive. No. Probably you're going to run out of RAM before you run out of space. Because some of these are RAM-hungry programs.
Especially Krita.
Looking at you, Photoshop. So what I want you to do is, for your next one, I want you to sketch the pony beyond what you're going to do. And then you're going to crop it to what you want at the end. Or not at the end, but once you're done your sketching. So your arms and whatever else is sticking around the image is all there.
It's kind of like how the Awesome Fluffy showed us earlier. They have like kind of the cutoff where you can see they drew the bottom of the body to show how it all connects.
Sometimes you just gotta follow the rule of draw what's not there. Because even if it's something that's cut off from the image or hidden, you know, it can really help to figure out what is there.
Ellie Claw, are you doodling at the bottom?
What? You can't prove it.
But it says your name next to your pen lines.
You can't prove anything.
It's recorded on the internet.
Lies. Lies.
So many doodles going on. So little time.
Sketching on drawings and stuff. With a pen with crappy brushes and something. I cannot get this cheek right. It's hard to even see what I'm doing.
Alright. You got very blocky hooves. Ponies are marshmallows. They're like living marshmallows.
You can't tell them how to marshmallow.
I can tell them are marshmallow. I just did.
Oh.
You just
Okay.
go squish squish. You be soft and huggable. For yourself.
Allie, trust me.
You're learning so much. Trust you?
Trust me.
Last time I trust you, you ate my boyfriend's brain.
Well, he wasn't using it too much that
Is he
day.
a zombie griffin now?
He's a zombie griffin now.
Oh my god.
I know, it's an epidemic.
But wait, what if Ali, don't leave him alone with the raritatos. We do not need a zombie raritato uprising.
There's already a zombie raritato.
If he gets hungry,
true.
they are potatoes.
It's true.
So something I was looking at, the face just like feels a little bit wonky to me. I feel like the nose is a little bit too high up, but I don't know about that. But mainly the eyes, just kind of, there's something about them that looked a bit like they weren't sort of placed right. Especially this one where it was like right on the edge of the face, and you got like the cheek kind of jutting out from that. The cheek also as well was also pretty blocky. It should be something squishy and marshmallowy. I didn't draw it very well. I'm just sitting trying to get the proportions to the face right, but it's really hard to do on this program. But I hope that sort of gives you an idea anyway. Squishy face. I always make sure to leave like a little bit of a gap for the face, unless it's turned at a really like third quarter angle. Otherwise, it's best to sort of leave like a little bit of a gap, because the eye is not coming. It's not like attached to the side of the face. You know, it's a ball sitting in a socket in the face. Otherwise, just balancing them, trying to look at that sassy expression. How come the first two letters are in red and purple and then the rest are in yellow?
These questions and more next time on whenever they respond.
Will the sassy pony with the sunglasses, the lazy pony with the sunglasses ever get the sunburn? We'll have to find out. Will the fluffing ever stop?
No.
Never.
We're just gonna ask that right now.
Never stop the fluff. See, look, I'm gonna fluff the no. That's how much you can't stop the fluff. It's really hard to fluff letters.
Oh, that's cute. I just saw your little doodling. It's adorable.
There you go. CPC's got it. She's the pro. She's gonna fluff the letters. We don't have to worry anymore. I believe you. Yeah, the bubbles help it have something to fluff.
Oh, so this is based off an album cover then. I see.
Oh, so okay, so it's gonna. I can't think of her name. Sia.
How is it? That sunburn.
Yeah.
That's what obviously what I thought of, but like it looks different. So wasn't sure.
She needs that black streak, right?
Needs all the fluffy layers.
So fluffy. Alright, anyone else have any questions or art they'd like to submit? You got a wonderful badge. Yes, you did. You
Badge? What badge was that?
there are what are they called? Not flares. Tags. And they're tagged wonderful horse.
Oh, wanna draw?
Yeah.
Perfection.
Well, at least tagged Liam.
I saw, and I'm so happy you did that for me, Zelda.
Why is
Well,
I
me-
just now saw the bunny pony that CPC chose?
10 out of 10. I love it.
I love it.
That's
So cute. I want one. I want one to hold and stroke.
I now want to do a thing where the main six get mashed with other animals. And
Aw.
they're half pony, half animal.
Yeah.
And bunny pony would be Fluttershy.
Is a
Yeah,
pony
so-
not an animal?
Other
Half
said
pony.
Other animals.
Other animal.
Half pony, the other half pony. Ah!
In the world of Equestria, pony are not animal. Pony are sentient.
No, they're people. They're sapient.
Alright, well, if that's it, thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate it all. And we'll see you again next week. assuming we don't all implode.
It's always a possibility.
Yeah, you never know. Bye.
Bye.